Okay, so the next topic we would like to briefly talk about is narrative condensation, because Flaubert notoriously hated dialogue. He said, and you know how much he was invested in realism, but of a specific kind. He was convinced that dialogue was always contrived, artificial, it didn't work, it wasn't real. And so he used very little dialogue, which made it very difficult for us to write the script, because we had decided we were going to do as much as possible quotations as a challenge also, to see how far that goes. And so there were some sentences that we had to do something else with. But there is an aspect in the soundtrack of the novel, you could say. There is a lot of sound evoked in the novel that we had never really noticed so much until we started to make this project and work with a very gifted sonologist, as she calls herself, Sara Pinheiro. And when you come into the gallery, before you enter, you have already heard soundscape of sounds from Emma's life. And what characterizes the soundtrack in the whole project is indistinction. And that's why the sound leakage from screen to screen is not a problem, because that sort of indistinction works, and that works very well in the novel also. And so one of the things that we quote is that indistinction. This image you just saw is, by the way, is not in this project, it's in the film. It's a sort of an epilogue of the film that we added afterwards. But one of the factors, the ways we quote indistinction is by evoking a figure who in Flaubert's novel is very distant, a sort of an abject beggar, blind beggar who sings, and at crucial moments in Emma's life appears, and we turned that into a woman who first shows up at Emma's wedding. I think that is the first moment, right? Mm-hmm. Also in a sort of white dress, as if she and Emma cannot be quite distinct and differentiated. She's there in several important moments, a little more than in the book, and also in the death scene, where in the book you hear the song of the beggar, and we make her actually cry for Emma as the only figure. The outsiders, like the chorus in the Greek tragedies. Nobody, there are no other outsiders but this figure who is actually standing there and weeps when she's dying and when she has died.